on our panel, and what a compliment coming from Chaz to say that you're smarter than he is. So Ryan, one of his favorite pastimes is going to Costco. You see, we've got a wide variety of people up here. I feel like I had one more funny, great thing to say about. Oh, and he considers himself the most unprofessional professional. Ryan.
You down with OCC? Y'all did not pass the vibe check.
Charmaine walked out. You need Charmaine.
I mean, seriously.
I know.
A little audience participation. You guys say, yeah, you know me, right? You down with OCC? Thank you. Like you guys did not live through the early 90s. Naughty by Nature, please. We should do a parody of this song. I have no idea why we've not done that yet. Okay, so I would have loved to have known all of this information before coming here because this would have been an amazing debate. Lots of great things have been said. I would respectfully disagree with a lot of it just for the sake of stirring up some great conversation. Okay, so we're going to talk about OCC, what the outlook is for this year, where it might come from, all of these things, okay? So the outlook, yes, we're going to see OCC this year. How much? It's probably going to look a lot like 2023 in volume and cadence. Where is it going to come from? Well, you can't have old corrugated cartons without new corrugated cartons, and I live for new corrugated cartons. In my job, I follow the corrugated packaging market for Bloomberg. I think about it, study it 50 hours a week, probably more than that if you ask my wife. Hence one of the reasons I like to go to Costco. I like to look at boxes. My kids cannot take me shopping. I'm always turning them over, looking for the box maker certificates on the bottom. I collect them like baseball cards. There are about 1,150 box plants in the country. It's my ambition to visit every one of them and to collect a box. Did anyone ever think that boxes came with like the goods that we import? Anybody? No? Yeah. So here's a chart for the last couple years of imported goods, month over month, year over year. You can start to see that there's a trend. Big round numbers for people who are looking to try to keep up with some of the volume in the math. If you look at the monthly volume of containers, multiply that by like a 0.75, so take 25% off of that, and then multiply that number by 3/4 of a ton, that will give you a very good ballpark of what the imported OCC values might be. That's just a pretty good rough estimate. Rough estimate, okay? We don't know for sure, but we're gonna work on honing that. If our estimations of imports are correct, we could see imports rise this year somewhere about 1.8 to 2%. Now this hinges largely upon trade routes, what's going on with the Panama Canal, also what's going on in the Red Sea. This may have an impact, as you can imagine, the Panama Canal being the biggest thing here. We're going to see ship volumes later this year fall to maybe 15 ships per day. That's a third of what it was mid last year. Okay. As far as box making capacity, we're definitely seeing some changes in the trends as to who is making what and what are they making it out of. All of the new producers that are showing up are skewed towards recycled content. They're very big machines. In metric terms, these are 8 meters plus. These are 300 plus inches. They're very efficient machines. They're very fast machines. I did have the opportunity to visit the Domtar paper mill. It is a gem. What a world-class machine that is. Ginormous, first. Second, it's super duper fast. And third, it makes an incredible sheet. I'm hopeful this year that I'll get to visit the other new machines as well. I'll be able to look at those machines, see the paper that came off of them. But so far, the results from these machines are absolutely incredible. And it is changing some of the dynamics. Now, interesting note here, on Friday, the benchmark publication that everybody is well aware of, that tracks prices that all these contracts are tied to, they just actually raised containerboard prices $40 a ton, and or for linerboard, and then $60 a ton for medium. Now this is kind of a mind-bending move here. Economically, we have demand that's still very soft. Mill operating rates are under 90%, so we have no idea what was proving this. Our efforts did not show any price movement at all, so it will be very interesting to see how this all shakes out, because it just defies some of the laws of basic economics. All right, so in the last year, 2023, we saw a lot of additions, a lot of closures. All of the new stuff that came out, again, basically 100% recycled, with the caveat here that PCA's mill is an expansion and it is virgin. The stuff that came out was largely old virgin machines, old, not doing really well, not efficient. They're not competitive, and this is kind of the opportunity right now. Is anybody who's going to be in the industry right now that wants to grow, that wants to accentuate its position, is going to have to look for efficiency, and they're only going to do it right now through recovered fiber. Interestingly enough, so last year we produced 36.5 million tons of containerboard. Almost 31 million tons were consumed here in the US. A little over 4 million were exported. A little over 1 million was imported. And they put 2.6 million tons in inventory. What's really interesting, we made about 14 million tons of recycled, like 100% recycled containerboard. Now, that number is a little bit interesting because that's what we call 100% recycled. We're still using recycled content as an adder for virgin and for semi-chemical medium. So in 2023, we think we probably saw about 16 million tons or so that was actually consumed in containerboard mills. But with the expanding capacity, in 2024, we could see that number approach 19 million tons if all of these new recycled mills hit their run rates. This is just on the containerboard side. We're not even talking about other paper products. We're not talking about CRB, URB. This is just solely containerboard. Almost 19 million tons of capacity. Assuming demand changes, that is a huge, huge draw. And what we're seeing right now, this is really the perplexing thing. Prices right now, on the chart, they look like they're around a 10-year average. However, economically speaking, we're seeing something surface that's much different. We're seeing supply is not great. It's not great compared to the level of demand. Why is it not great? Well, as we mentioned, consumer brands have been seeing softer volume. That softer volume is showing up in grocery stores. Grocery stores is one of the biggest places that people go to find OCC, am I right? Yeah? Walmart's, Albertsons, Kroger's, those places. This is the clean stuff that everybody wants. We're not really seeing it there. It's not showing up at quite the same cadence. And because of that, demand is exceeding supply. And what we've seen then is when those contract negotiations are going out and people are trying to secure tons, the index isn't moving with what's actually transpiring. So rather than moving the index, what we're seeing is when people are going out, they'll say, oh, well, we'll pay 25 over the high side of the South. Okay, well, that's not winning the tons. So they'll go, I'll pay 35 over the high side of the South, rather than the index coming up. Or they'll say, I'll go 40 over, or 50 over, or last week I heard 60 over. Now, I'm not going to say that's the new norm of 60, but certainly it's not 25 anymore. And so what we're seeing is that the real street price is far different than what is showing up in the index. And so the real prices are affecting mills a lot differently than the data suggests. We're seeing that the landed price at a paper mill is probably around $200 a ton. We don't know how much more they're going to be willing to pay. With supply and demand imbalances being what they are, we think that window is probably, so maybe for the near future, that window might be like another $0 to $20 a ton of movement before they start going, whoa, hey, we got to pump the brakes here. In some cases, when these mills are looking for supply, they can't, and if they can't find it locally, they have to go to the export market, which is a little bit more expensive. And that's creating a really big pinch on their margins. So on the one hand, the $40 increase that happened on Friday is a great lift, especially for the recycled producers. That's going to help them kind of breathe a little bit as these OCC prices have been coming up. Yeah, okay. I'm happy to send any of these slides to you if you want to email me. I'm running way ahead of time, so that's good. Good news. Feel free to email me, see me afterwards. Happy to engage on any level and have that discussion with you. Thanks so much.